Hi, I'm Bob Trask, and this is our weekly reset. Thank you for being with me. You know, we're going to talk today about something I think is pretty darn important, and it's relative to this month's theme of bringing our emotional lives into balance. Today, we're going to talk about rewriting old memories. Now, why should we rewrite old memories? Why would we even consider that? Because a lot of our old memories have minimized us and have taken our lives from what they could have been to what they are. Uh, I must tell you that we have all of us tons and tons of good memories, lots of good memories. We don't often think about those good memories. They don't come back to us as easily. But the dark ones, the bitter ones, the ones that are filled with guilt and shame or animosity or revenge or resistance or anger, those babies, they come back pretty often, don't they? Because they're the most prominent. And the most prominent of anything is what shows up. So if we could go back in time and find something that happened and make it different, would we? Well, that's a good question. So let's dwell on that just for a minute, would we? So you have an old memory that is maybe a painful memory, and you've had that memory and it's been with you for lots and lots and lots and lots of years. So we could go back and change that old memory. We could go back and make it different, make the whole situation, the whole scene come out differently. Would we? Not so fast. Not so fast, because if we went back and changed that old memory, we'd have to also change who we are. So maybe we're not so rapid to change that old memory, maybe not quite so quick, because we know who we are. And who we are is relative to those old dark memories. Those old dark memories taught us how we were. Here's the interesting situation. Every event that happens in my life, and may I say every event that happens in your life, tells us something about who we are. It doesn't need to be. That doesn't need to be that way. It's just that it's so. And it's so because when we were born and we came out of the womb and we were little bitty black, white, pink, yellow, whatever color babies we were laying there, we were perfect. We were perfect. And our minds were clean, clear. Oh, yeah, I know. We might talk about past life experiences, but I'm not going to go there now. We were clean. We were clear. We had no identity. We didn't know who we were. We didn't know who we were. We needed to know who we were. So every single thing that happened to us, please stay with me. Everything that happened to us, we made a decision about who we were. Who we were is who we were relative to that situation. If that situation didn't happen, then we were nobody. But when that situation happened, how it impacted us, that taught us who we are. Now you look at all of the trillions of memories that we've had, and you realize that the great chorus, the great orchestration of those memories have taught me and taught you who we are. Other than that, who are we? If you're not the events that have happened to you, if you're not relative to the events that happened to you, then who are you? And if I'm not relevant to the things that happened to me, then who am I? We are, in fact, our memories. No, wait a minute, stop, Bob. That's not who we really are. That's who we think we are. That's our identity. Our identity is made up of all our memories. So a kid goes to school, and in kindergarten, he does some really nifty things, and the teacher goes, "Whoa, you are just an incredible student. Wow, you're just a great student." First grade, "Oh man, you have some kind of a great mind." Is that kid going to then fail out of high school? Is he going to quit school in the 10th grade? He's probably going to go on and get a college degree, maybe even MA, and maybe even a PhD. But how come? How come? Because his identity of himself was that he was a student and a good student. This is a place where he could belong in class, in school. So that created his identity. Now he had a really dear friend named Joe. Joe was his buddy, and Barbara was his girlfriend. Oh God, he was in love with Barbara. Whew. And Joe was his best friend. And when he bought a ring and he was going to ask Barbara to marry him when he was 23 years old, he found out that she had been having an affair with Joe. And he was crushed. He was hammered. He was disconsolate. He stayed in his room and beat on his pillow and cried and listened to very sad music. That event that happened taught him who he was relative to romance and relative to close friendship. I can't trust I can't trust that romance. When I fall in love with somebody, I can't trust that that my feelings are real. I can't trust that I'm going to be honored. I can't trust that. I that's not who I am. I'm not a person that can do that. Joe could do that. Joe and Barbara, they're getting along just fine. In fact, they're going to get married next month. But that's good for Joe. But it didn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. He'll probably carry that into his marriage should he get married at the age of 36. Um, where were you this afternoon? I was just out where? I was, and the little thing in the back of his mind is going on, wow, this is what happened with Barbara. This is the same thing. So, and can I have a best friend then that I really trust? Because Joe is still my best friend in my heart. He's still my best friend, but he cheated on me. He betrayed me. So I know best friends cheat on you. I know girlfriends or wives cheat on you. So that becomes part of his identity. Now let's today, while we're here together, let's just bring to mind an old negative memory that and of an incident that changed your life, changed who you think you are by taking something precious from you. I know we all have those. I know we all have those. Boy, I got a bunch of them. I got a bunch of them. Now, I'm sorry to ask you to be pulling something distasteful into this beautiful, beautiful day, but I think we can make it less distasteful in just a minute. So, what about that situation was actually you? How much of that situation was actually you? What decision did you make about yourself and about all people when that happened? Maybe you actually made a decision to do something, and it turned out to be really a stupid idea, or maybe it was an idea that took a huge amount out of you and out of your life, and maybe it was a bad idea. Maybe you married a really monstrous person who brutalized you, or cheated on you, or lied to you, or bankrupted you, or stole everything of yours. Maybe well, whatever, you know what happened to you. What decision did you make, and are you still making? Hello? You're still making about yourself because of that old memory. Can you go back and change that memory? Can you go back and do that? Because that situation altered your life. And it's still altering your life. Because that memory is rewriting itself constantly into new situations. So the new situations that come along, you only half trust them because you have a memory that's playing in your mind about how you can't really trust the situation or yourself to make the proper decisions, or you can't trust other people to really love you and care for you under all conditions, or you've been thrown under the bus and you think everybody's going to throw you. What is it that how is it that that's still altering your life? And then these new situations that don't turn out well because we're dragging our old memories into them, these new situations that don't turn out well, they become old memories. And it goes on, and the game goes on and on. It's almost like a virus in your subconscious mind. And it infects everything that it touches. But my dear friend, you were born whole, perfect, and complete. And the events in your life were there to educate you, to mature you, to give you wisdom. And they could surely change the way you felt about yourself, but what they were supposed to do is uplift you, broaden you, make you more, not make you less. But see, when we were little kids in this environment, we were taught those two ugly stepsisters, shame and blame. We were taught that. Shame on you. Look at those pants. Where do you think? You think money grows on trees? Blah, blah, blah. So we learn to be shamed. We learn then to blame others. As we get shamed, we learn to shame others. Then we shame and blame, and then that becomes part of what we do. And then when situations come along and we think I should have known better, or I could have done better, or I really screwed that up and it fell apart, then there's that memory that proves to us who we are not. Proves to us who we are not. We need to remember today that we were all born whole, perfect, and complete, and that it's still us, and we're still perfect. If we only have one obligation in this lifetime, it's to be true to ourselves, to our true selves, not to those selves that have gotten battered and bruised by the events of time. We have an obligation to be true to who we came here to be. And who we came here to be, we haven't fulfilled that yet. I don't care how old we are, we haven't fulfilled that yet. We haven't reached that yet. We're not yet there. The peach is not yet ripe. Don't pick it yet. We can't have the relationships we want and need. We can't have have the abundance we want and need. We can't have the daily joy we want and need. We can't have the peace of mind we want and need while carrying the burden of an old memory that's bathed in shame or anger. It's that very blame that altered us, took away our absolute clarity of who we were, takes away still our courage and dissolves our self-confidence. And we can only afford so much of those crippling energies before they make us really crippled emotionally. But even if we're not really crippled emotionally, we may not be reaching the mark. And we can reach the mark if can we just go back and change those old memories? Is it possible? Can you do that? No, my memory is my memory. I remember it. I know exactly where it was. I know exactly what it did. No, I can't change that. I recently taught a class called Ho'oponopono. In that class, we used an ancient Pacific Island process for healing and forgiving old erroneous memories. And it was developed in the villages of the islands. And it was developed because in those villages, people were really close together. I mean, there was no separation. They lived so close together. They fished together. They ate together. They made love together. They had their babies. The babies grew up together. It was all just like one consciousness. And if that consciousness got poisoned by somebody feeling ugly about themselves, then they began to feel ugly within the tribe. Then the tribe began to suffer. Other people began to suffer because a self-blaming person is a blaming person. A self-shaming person is a shaming person. And that can destroy a village. So the old kahunas developed this beautiful thing called Ho'oponopono. And in Ho'oponopono, what you do is you go back and look at that old memory, that old ugly memory. And you see that perfect, beautiful you, pure, perfect, beautiful, spectacular, wonderful being. The only one of them will ever be in any universe at any ever time. And you look at that one, at that you, and you say, I layered all kinds of crap on top of you. I did that. You look back at yourself and you say, I buried you under all my misgivings and my shame and my blame and all of my mistrusts and all of my old angers at myself and at others and my needs for revenge. I buried you, little Bob, underneath all that stuff. And now I come to you, and here's the Pacific Islands. Ho'oponopono. I come to you, little Bob, and I say, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And that cleansing, I may have to do that a lot of different times relative to that situation until it actually gets cleansed. But it does get cleansed. I can tell you that because I and my classmates all went through this, and we got rid of tons and tons of old ugliness, old bitterness. But because we're able to heal those memories so they no longer punish us, doesn't mean that the forgiveness of those kills the memory. Louis B. Smeedy said, forgiving does not erase the bitter past. A healed memory is not a deleted memory. Instead, forgiving what we cannot forget creates a new way to remember. A new way to remember. We change the memory of our past into hope for the future. Oh, man. When I was at San Quentin Prison, working with convicts, helping them to prepare to get out of prison after long sentences, some of them 20 or 30 years, I found that very often they introduced themselves to me as their guilty memories. Here's an example. I'm Mike Cantoni. I'm a robber. Or I'm John O'Brien. I'm a forger. Or I'm Pete Smith. I'm a rapist. They had been told that and had that hammered into them for so many years. They thought that's who they were. They really thought that's who they were. Now I ask you a question. Could that person with that identity go out on the street, live in society, and not end up going back to prison? No, no, they couldn't. The recidivism rate, which means the return rate to prisons, is huge in America. Huge. So what we do is we put them in prison and we beat them over the head and shoulders and we keep telling them, that's who you are, that's who you are, that's who you are. And then we say, okay, we're going to let you out and see how you do. Well, we know how they're going to do. These people had actually become their crimes, allowed those old memories to tell them who they were as awful people, as losers. Now, most of us watching this right now are not in prison, but still almost all of us have identified with one or more old memories. And of course, we have wonderful memories too, but since our negative experiences and negative memories are so much more painful and so much more dominant, those are the ones that we pay attention to. We often think our memories are stored like they are in computers. And once registered, the data are put away for safekeeping and eventual recall, all in the same way. No, Lionel Hampton, the great musician, said human memory is not like a computer, which records things. It's a part of the imaginative process on the same terms as invention. What's he saying? That we're inventing that memory. We're inventing that memory through our imagination. Facts don't change. What was really happened didn't change, but our memories about it does. We face each new situation with all of our baggage intact. And that baggage is our self-identity. It's who we think we are. So now here's the really good news. We can change our memories so that they affect us positively instead of negatively, because neuroscientists have shown that each time we remember something, we're reconstructing that event, reassembling it from traces of other memories throughout the brain. And as we change our memories, we change ourselves. We are our memories in a sense. Like we're not really our memories. We're whole, perfect, complete, beautiful people. But our memories identify us. Because remember when we were this little cute, sweet baby, that we didn't have any sense of who we were, and then we began to have experiences, and the experiences taught us who we were, and so those memories of those experiences teach us who we are, and we still think we are that. And how many memories do we have? An average human has 2.5 million gigabytes of memory. Here's an example how many memories that is, 2.5 million gigabytes. Playing on a TV from a digital video recorder, it will take 3 million hours to play all your memories. You'll have to leave your TV running day and night for more than 300 years to play your memories. And here's the main point. Those trillions of memories are all sharing space with one another. They aren't individually shielded. They're sharing information with each other, changing each other. So if the dog in my memory was black, wow, other dogs and other memories and other parts of that have tainted that. And I now remember that dog as brown and white. The dog is still black, but my memory is different. We don't remember accurately. We think things happened in a certain way, but we only saw a slim part of what was really going on. And a good example of this comes from the cornerstones of the legal system, eyewitnesses. Too many people have been put behind bars on the testimony of witnesses who have later been proven to be misremembering. Another phenomenon of this, and this is an even more important point, is those who confess to crimes they didn't even commit. According to a recent survey in the New York Times, false confessions have figured in 24% of the 289 convictions reversed by DNA evidence. That means that a quarter of those people convicted of crimes they remember committing were actually innocent. Okay, so now we know that what really happened to us is not what we remember. And now we can heal all those old erroneous memories. Jesse Jackson, our dreams must be stronger than our memories. Our dreams, your dreams, my dreams, must be stronger than our memories. We must be pulled by our dreams rather than pushed by our memories. So let's stop letting them take bites out of our self-worth. Let's go back and clean up those old memories by saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. To you, to the precious you, who you maligned and taught that you were less than who you are by, oh, but you don't know this mistake I made. Oh, well, I'm telling you, you're singing to the choir here because I have made all the mistakes there are to make. But I'm not my mistakes. It's not who I am. So, my dear friend, what I've learned is that the past exists only as an illusion in our minds, and we can't afford to have trillions and trillions and trillions of erroneous memories dictating our lives today, can we? Each morning when we awaken, we have a new life, a brand new life, and it has nothing to do with yesterday or yesterday's memories. When I let yesterday guide my today and my tomorrow, I'm never fully alive. I'm just reliving a tired, old, imaginary identity that I don't need anymore. So today, let's look at those memories with a new truth. We are the survivors. You survived. Don't look at how at that memory was dark. You survived it. You learned from it. You came out of it whole. You're a survivor. Be proud of that. Stand tall. If I was giving out medals, I'd give you out the Congressional Medal of Honor, and you could wear it around all the time and feel how great you are. We've been knocked down, but we always got up, didn't we? We always got up. That's who we are. Louis Malle said, memory is not frozen. It's very much alive. It moves. It changes. So let's change those memories. Let's look at each one through a new lens, one that tells us who we are and that we have survived and that we're now whole and well. Let's honor ourselves for winning all the time. Who you are today, my friend, is miraculous. Miraculous. You're a child of this universe and you belong here. You're family and you're loved and you're blessed. You're safe and free. So no longer will you let old memories diminish the wonderfulness of who you are, will you? No longer. Thank you. Thank you for being with me. I so very much appreciate you being with me. Now, if you got a minute, please go to bobtrask.com and leave a donation so that Mary and I can expand and continue our good work. Be a part of our team. Leave a donation. Thank you. Thank you. And go with my love through this week, letting your old memories fly away and be who you came here to be. I love you.